Good evening, and you're very welcome along to the first episode of EC Spotlight, where we in the Emerald Collective shine a light on the hard-working and talented creators and organisers in our small scene. Tonight we're kicking off our first episode with the lovely folks from DareCon, one of Ireland's newest gaming conventions. DareCon 2 will be taking place in the Osprey Hotel, Naas, County Kildare, on the weekend of October 17th and 18th. But before we chat about DareCon 26, let's take a look back at last year's convention. It really was as good as it looked. Let's give a big EC welcome to Kevin and Luca, who are two of the convention's organisers. Guys, welcome in.
Hello.
Hello, thanks for hosting.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you. Delighted to have you. Looking back on that, it looked great. I remember just the vibes were great, and just people wandering around having fun. So for people who haven't heard of DareCon before, what exactly is it?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah.
So first, I just want to say that video was done for us by Gareth at Delta Scene, who did an absolutely amazing job, and I just want to give him a shout out. Yeah, so DareCon is hopefully Kildare's gaming convention. That's what we'd like it to be. Obviously, there's loads of great conventions around the country and in Kildare. But what we try to do basically, we're from the Naas Board Game Club, and I joined a few years ago. I'll let Luca talk in a minute about where the club came from, because he was one of the founders of it. I joined it only a few years ago, and to be honest, like, I'm sure everyone in the community knows this, but like I think we are experiencing a bit of like a change in, how gaming is kind of considered. Tabletop gaming is considered, across the board. It's really growing massively, and we saw that in just the numbers of our club just started creeping up. I think over COVID, people just wanted, they couldn't go to the pub. I think that had a massive change on the social landscape. People wanted to do other things and have other experiences socially. And I think a lot of them came to gaming, which was fantastic. And we noticed the club growing and growing. So one of the things that happened in 2025 is the club finally kind of formalized and got a charter and everything like that. Wow. So I approached the heads of the club and said, look, should we try and put on a convention? I think that's a good idea. And that's basically where it came from. But I'll let Luca jump in, because he started the whole Naas Board Game Club.
So when did that start, Luca?
Well, it started in 2016. It was at the early February 2016, and I had only recently moved to Newbridge, and I really found the need of trying to get people that similar-minded people, people that wanted to be around the table and chat and play without the need of necessarily having drinks involved, but which is obviously a good thing to do, but not being necessary, So that's when I created what was called at the start Kildare Board Game Group. And I remember first time we organized a meetup, there were 3 of us, and some of us still in the group. And then, months went by and people start to join. The numbers started to go up. And
where were you meeting?
We were meeting at the start I don't know if you know Newbridge. We were meeting at the Judge Roybin in Newbridge at the start.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. I've friends over there.
From there, then the big core of the group moved to, was coming from Naas. So we felt the need of having to move the location to Naas. And that's when, at a certain point, the name Kildare Board Game Group got changed to Naas Board Game Group, which
Okay.
is just for a need of localization, right? So everything starts with a dream, dream of getting people together, and then dream of people of the same similar-minded people to see, okay, let's go out there and let's get more people in.
Yeah.
And then Kevin dream, then it was the most important one, where is obviously trying to get his passion to become something bigger, and he founded DareCon, and
Yeah.
but I like to say that without the Naas Board Game Group, the core Naas Board Game Group, this couldn't have happened, As you
Absolutely.
can see how successful was the convention last year is only because so many of the Naas Board Game Group went down and put their hands in and helped a little
Yeah.
bit with their funds, with their money, with their time. And, and without them, this cannot be possible,
But Dave,
Absolutely.
you asked like, what is DareCon?
Yeah.
If I'd have known, some of it was my ignorance of the level of what was going on in Ireland, which is incredible, and I'm amazed by it, and it's what sustains and lets DareCon exist and grow.
Yeah.
But if I'd have known to the extent that there was all this incredible stuff happening, maybe I'd have been a bit like, oh, do I need to do this? But I didn't. I just went like hell for leather, and we gave ourselves so little time, like 2 months we gave ourselves to put this on. So I think it was August 2025. I started approaching people about, sponsors and stuff, and it was on November 9th. So I don't know how it happened. It's just, it's a complete blur. But somehow it happened. But yeah, like what was driving me was like, because I didn't know about all this stuff, I just sort of said, there's so many people, so many incredible people coming to this. They want to play. And I just sort of also saw the power of games to bring people together and to, break down that kind of barrier that I think a lot of people have if they're a bit socially awkward, and if they want to have these experiences but they feel like, oh, I can't, I don't want to go out and be awkward. Like, to me, I'm like that, and the games provide something like that.
It's a
If
safe
you can't,
space to just meet
yeah,
people without expectations or pressure.
exactly. And also, like, if you can think of something to say, naturally, just because whatever reason, you can kind of focus on the game. The game kind of takes the pressure off everyone to kind of perform socially, and then it just was a great way, I think, for people to meet. And I just said, look, let's give something back to this community by putting a big day on for everyone, and just threw myself at it like 100,000%, and
Absolutely. Like,
somehow managed to pull off what we pulled off, which was fantastic. And it was down to everyone, like everyone who showed up on the day, all our volunteers and the public
yeah.
that came and made it a success. Like, that was what did it. So that's what DareCon is, hopefully, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember like walking into the first one, and like I said, it was really well organized. And like like all I had to do was say who I was. People knew, oh, you're over there. This is that. Like, that's like what's happening there. The players who had booked onto my table knew where to go. It was great. So like, I feel like you guys were you spent a lot of time the last one just like hyper focusing on making it work. So now that you know how it works, how is the next one going to be different?
Well,
Um,
yeah, go on,
Will I
Luke.
go
You
ahead?
can take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, of course, like Dave, we have no presumption of being expert in this, okay? Last year was our first one.
Mm,
We are here to learn.
yeah.
And we thought when we decided to propose DareCon 2, we said, okay, how should we start, right? So we started simply by asking feedback.
Mm,
So we went there and we sent feedback to people that were there, and we just listened, So the first feedback was, okay, guys, why don't you do it 2 days? You
okay.
know, there were loads of people saying, like, it was so good. Why you stop one day? And then they said, okay, 2 days, guy. Oh God, that's another big task. We need to
Yeah.
organize for 2 days. Like,
Yeah.
and of course, this is a no profit. That there is like, we have to make up with the money that we are being given by sponsor, which they are being fantastic. And thank God, Kildare County Council as well with the grant, we have
Mm,
to say. But at the start, we didn't know how much budget we had. So
mm,
to start working without knowing what actually budget you have, that's a task and a half on its own, you know?
Sure.
And then you move to the next feedback. People say, okay, one of the highlights of last year was RPG, right?
Okay.
And people like you, they've coming down and did that amazing job, made a great success for RPG. And loads of people say, look, God, that's fantastic, right? They want more RPG. But the thing is, because we had the same area running board game and RPG, it was a little bit loud. People were complaining they couldn't listen too much, hear too much. So what we did was say, okay, let's set another area. And that's where the Arum Perch came out. And thanks to Emmett and Old Oak Games that is sponsoring the area, now we have a dedicated RPG area.
Brilliant.
Where, you know, people can be focused only on RPG, and obviously it's a quieter environment and probably dedicated area. And I might get to Kevin just discuss about all the other news.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'd echo a lot of what Luca said there. Like, firstly, a huge amount of thanks to all of our funders and sponsors who, like, this wouldn't happen without them having said yes and reached out to us and helped us. So, like, really, it couldn't happen without them. Kildare County Council community grant was absolutely like imperative in getting off the ground. And then we've had Kildare Gaelga come on board, the local Gael school. They came back to sponsor us again from last year. I'll talk more about them later because we're really passionate about the Irish language and incorporating it into gaming. So they'll be there this year with a dedicated table. But I'll talk more about that in a bit. And then Life Credit Union, who sponsored us the first year, were amazing. They're sponsoring us again. So that's fantastic. And like to have this sort of sense of that they believe in us to continually support us, like it's brilliant. And now this year, Emmett from Old Oak Games, who was one of the GMs last year, with his fantastic game, you know, now reaching out and saying he believes in this enough to support us at that level is incredible, you know.
That's amazing, yeah.
And that we can give the space what it deserves. Because last year, you know, I'll be honest, like I probably should have said this at the start, was, you know, when we set out to do this, we're a board game club in Naas. Vastly primarily a board game club, and you know we could have just done a board game convention, and I've personally felt like we should try to make this a tabletop gaming convention because there's a huge amount of different aspects to tabletop, obviously, and all throughout Kildare there's all these different groups. And what I felt was like I didn't want any group thinking, oh, that con isn't for us. Like we're into gaming, but we're not really welcome at that con because it's for this specific thing. Like I thought, if we can get a massive hotel room, we can have a carve out space for everyone.
Yeah.
So like I really pushed for RPGs, and some of the people, you know, in our club very understandably said, look, that might be taking on a bit too much with the 2 months trying to organize RPGs. That's an even bigger kettle of fish. But I was like, I can't leave out that one of the pillars of tabletop. No way. So I just started cold calling, reaching out to everyone, and obviously you were one of them. And you know your support in the first year was enormous. And like when I saw you come in with the gear and set it up, I was just like, this is so savage. Like this is going to be so amazing. And it was like, and you know, people
it's good
loved
fun,
it. So
yeah.
So like that's a big part of it. This year the other thing is last year was just I felt like it went by so fast, you know. It went well, but it shot by. And I was like, the problem is if you rent a space for like a day and you get it from like to say 8 a.m., they kind of want you out by 8 p.m. or whatever. But I thought one of my favorite things about cons when you can stay a weekend is like you can play late into the night on the Saturday. So that was what drove us. We were like, let's do 2 days and try and get a late Saturday. People can like relax and get into games and stuff like that. So that's what we were thinking, to make it bigger and give it more space, you know.
We have a few people in chat. We have Declan from D8 Dungeon is in. We've got Ben from Homebrew Show and D8 Dungeon Master, who is Ben Doherty, who's with Old Oak Games and ourselves here. Everyone's in singing your praises, and they're all excited for it. So what I'm hearing there are the main differences between DareCon 25 and 26 is we're 2 days. We've a dedicated RPG space now. Anything else that would make it different? How are you approaching the vendors in the same way, or is there anything to do with cosplay? Or I mean, I think people like some people showed up in cosplay the last time, like people do.
I think I mean we wholeheartedly, would we really encourage people to show
Mm,
up like that. That's great. We'd love to offer more of that sort of the experience, like the LARPing
yeah,
and the cosplay experience. The problem is we as crazy as we are, as fast as we're moving, some part of us is still like,
absolutely. Yeah,
let's not like
yeah,
blow up on the way to where we're
yeah, yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's a few things we haven't quite got to, but they will
Mm,
come eventually. We also have to prove to the Osprey that we can take over the entire hotel, like
okay. So
bit
you
by
still
bit
haven't
we'll get
taken the
there.
hotel over yet? There's still,
There's a little bit left, and
is
those are the
there?
bits where, yeah, those things will end up hopefully.
Those
Yeah.
weddings, Dave, those weddings in the way, we need to
Yeah,
stop them.
yeah, yeah. I'm in. I'm in. Let's attack monogamy then, for the sake of the TTRPG space. Um,
Yeah.
cool. So look,
So
so what?
you were
Yeah,
asking about news, right? So
yeah.
one thing that I'm very excited this year, and I really think we should really advertise more, is the platform that we are using this year to organize
Mm.
things
Oh
and
yeah.
events and table, because I think this is a game changer. And when I saw it myself, and when I was researching for any way of organizing events, I was really, really fascinated by it. And is basically After Game, which is an app platform where that should make the events creation people joining and sitting and claiming a table way much smoother.
Mm.
They will be able to share information about their games live with other people. You'll be able to know the location of the table where it's going to start. All kind of a sorts of how the game is going to last. The minimum age requirement, everything is involved there. Everything
Mm.
is organized by that, including the big library of games. The play and win will be managed there. So it's really, really good that people would start to get familiarized with the app.
This is
Um,
after
I,
game.
After game, I don't know.
Mm.
Did you
Very
have a look
slick.
yourself, Dave, at it?
I
What do you
did.
think?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's very intuitive. I have the app here. I can see my two games there, and I can see all the rest of the games if I just open it up now, and I go into DareCon. Like it is there. You can see there everything is there, and
Yep.
then you can scroll down. You can click going. You can. I think you can even buy tickets. You can look at the full schedule, 55 events, game library, 105 games, and a venue with maps and everything. That's fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's the thing that's been missing from like everything everywhere all at once really in the app is
Mm.
Yeah.
great. So people don't have to go looking for signs and stuff.
It was actually Luca who discovered it. I think
Mm,
it's two guys from New Zealand who
right.
are
Yeah.
developing it with a small team, and they really seem very passionate and constantly updating it, constantly add new features. As far as we know, there'll be direct messaging later on, hopefully in time for DareCon.
Mm,
And it's that thing of, like you said, the trying to organize this many tables is a massive endeavor. And we tried last year to use a BGG page, which
mm.
wasn't a bad idea, but you just can't
Keep
make it
track
foolproof.
constantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's when people don't read it and then they come to the
Yeah.
table at the
Yeah.
wrong
Yeah.
time. It causes so many problems. This hopefully will eliminate that, or at least reduce it massively.
Cool.
So yeah,
We've
it's really slick, and we hope people engage with it.
It's fantastic. We've John Caff in chat here says, I found the miniature painting tutorials absolutely deadly last time. A great way
Mhm.
to get feedback and some constructive criticism. Hopefully there'll be more of that this year.
Hey,
They
John,
will.
that's my friend John. How are you, John?
So yeah,
There will be miniature painting, yeah, for the 2 days, hopefully.
so looking behind you, Kev, right? I
Yeah,
can see you're into board games and you
myself the
have a,
same.
a
Yeah,
plethora of them. So
yeah,
I used to play Hero Quest back in the day, and I used to play board games like that. When I look at board games now, and I see a lot of them, they seem very complicated to me, with loads of tokens and like lots of cards and stuff like that. How is DareCon like for like if you don't know how to play something, can you just drop in and learn?
100%. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
that was a huge part of it as well. The other part of it was representing all of the different parts of tabletop, but also making sure that if you didn't know anything about games, but you were just even a little bit curious,
Mm,
that you could come, and by the end of the day you'd have dispelled any of the fears you might have had about what modern board gaming is. Because
yeah.
look, I had them. It was 2021, January 2021, I didn't know there was board games beyond Monopoly, Cluedo,
Yeah. Okay.
the average one. I didn't know that. And then it
Yeah.
was just Christmas that year. My brother brought his friend over and he had these games. And I was like, what the hell is this? And by the end of the day, I was ordering like my pandemic and starting this journey that
Yeah.
I've been on now for a long time. But yeah, I definitely, if you come to DareCon, you don't know anything about games, but you're interested, you will, we're going to have teaches. There's a vast array. And I think the issue is a lot of more modern board games. I'm sure it's the same with TTRPGs.
Mm.
You know, you look at the wrong one or the one that,
Yeah.
you haven't been guided towards at the start and you just turned off. It's too much. There's too many
Yeah.
rules. I need to know too much before I even begin. But like, there's board games that are you can learn in 5 minutes and there's some great ones that are very social. I think
Mm.
that's the gateway for me. I think I have like a game that I always try to introduce people to that I was introduced to by the group that I think you see people unlock, they're like,
Okay.
at the start they're kind of cold and then they start to get it and they're like, and then by the end they're just into it. And then you get them in the door, you can start showing them, some of the slightly more complicated ones. Yeah, it does get
Yeah.
ridiculous. Some people are
Yeah.
into, I love a super, super complex,
Okay.
crunchy, heavy game with loads of
Mm.
components. That's my brain.
Yeah.
But I understand that's not everyone's brain and there will definitely be something for everyone at DareCon.
Yeah, because like Kate in chat there says that she got well, myself and herself got the Firefly board game, and we
Oh, yeah.
we took it out and we're like, oh my God, like we were it just we ended up putting it away because we are like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think that's the great thing about you can go. I'm mad into Firefly, buy this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to get my head around it. Maybe look at a YouTube tutorial. But if people have games and they see someone playing them at DareCon, they can just rock up and go, "Hey, can I join in?" And the best way to learn is by doing with other people who know how to do.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't have to bring games like, you just show up. There's going to be a massive library there of games
Yeah.
that, people have brought for the convention for people to take out and try. And you can see if you like them, you don't have to go all in, but it's a great thing to do,
Mm,
I'm sure, you would agree with RPGs as well.
yeah,
Like if I think my ability to have been able to do what I've managed to do with DareCon to whatever extent that is has come somewhat from board games, like from learning skills through playing board games,
yeah,
like organizing things. Like I wasn't a great organizer. I'm probably not still not that good an organizer, but I'm definitely better than I was. And I think it's partly because of board games, like
yeah,
to manage resources and you have to like do these things. It's like it actually trains your brain in a way. So
yeah,
it's a
The
great
same
thing.
as the same as RPG teach you how to, um, open your head to something that is beyond logic, and just kind of think about a fantasy world where you could be an alternative reality, which is great to move people outside and away from the everyday worries and, and,
And the
and
screens.
routines. Like
yeah.
every
The
part of the
screens.
tabletop gaming, it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as Kevin would say, games from begin and it's great, for us that they are experienced players.
mm,
I take I talk about personally. It's great when you see people that they are beginners and they start to open up to games and you
yeah,
see their revelation, say, oh, just there's
yeah.
something that is beyond Monopoly. Like, Monopoly
Yeah.
ruined many families.
No,
But
yes,
it's not that. That's not only that. That's not
yeah.
board gaming. The modern board gaming is so much more.
Well, that's the thing. I'm just gonna let this dog go down here. That's the thing I found about like especially Dungeons and Dragons or like because that's usually the first one people come knocking on the door of and they're like, I'm afraid I have so many rules and the book is huge and blah blah blah. And it's just when you get them in, you sit them down and you just start to tell a story. And you listen, don't worry about the rules. Like you don't have to know all the rules at the same time.
Yeah.
When you want to try and persuade the shopkeeper to do something, then we'll get to that rule. If you want to
Mhm.
race down the street after someone that's stolen your pouch of gold, we'll get to that rule when we need to. And once they realize, oh, okay, I don't have to know everything, like going in, then they get to sort of scratch the surface of the magic that
Yeah.
collaborative storytelling. And I think it's kind of the same with board games, where people might just see all these tiles and cards and things, and then but once it's explained to them, then that's when as the fella says, the first hit is free. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
That's something I was going to say. I was going to ask you, Dave, is,
mm,
from what Luca said, I think that's something that RPGs do, is that, I think people when they get older, they don't get to play anymore,
yeah,
a lot of people just, unless you go into acting or whatever, and
mm,
you don't get that opportunity, except this is a way to do it. And, playing is really important to figuring out how to be a person and how to be alive,
life,
and to be
yeah,
able to keep doing it as an adult is really important. And I know I think for me, and I'm not a huge RPG player, although I love RPGs. I don't
mm,
play them enough. And I think part of it is because I'm a bit nervous about trying to act, and feeling a bit awkward and not being able to do it well enough. But like, I would wonder what you think. You must have seen a lot of people come for the first time, and experience it for the first time. And do you see them struggle with that, or do you see
yeah.
them like get something out of being like, when they get into it, they're like, I'm acting now, and I'm actually getting comfortable with it. Like,
Yeah, and I think I absolutely do. And even the last at the last con last year,
hmm,
there was a group of friends who dragged along their friend who had never played D&D
right,
and never played a TT or RPG, and he sat in, and he was like, "Okay, look," and he came to me like when I was coming back from the bathroom, and he was like, "You right? Listen, I don't know, I don't really want to be um sort of acting and stuff like that. I just want to play." I said, "Look, that's fine. You don't have to act. All you have to do is, like, if you just want to say my character wants to do this, or my character blah blah blah, and once they know then that there's no expectations, you don't have to deliver an
mm,
amazing performance. You don't have to deliver a performance at
Exactly.
all. That
mm,
you're here to play, you're here to have fun, and you're here to have fun the way you're able to have fun. And once, I think that's the key thing as a DM that I lay out in, like, that there's no expectations. You don't have to be at any kind of level. But last year, that person went from like going, okay, and I think they were a druid, and they went from like, okay, I think my character would like to do this. Then it moved on to, okay, so I want to do this, and
Mm.
then all of a sudden they had a voice, because the people around them had voices for their characters. And then they came up with such a fantastic idea, um, because in one of the games that I ran, it was set between a town and a hut in the woods, and it was about a day's travel. And then he was just like, could I ask the trees to relay a message for me from the hut to the trees in the town? And I was like, that's an amazing idea. I wouldn't have thought of it. And I'm like, you
mm,
absolutely can. It's a fantastic idea.
mm,
And so I narrated how that went, and
Mhm.
we went from someone going, I don't really want to play a character or act, to someone at the end was doing it because they felt they had the space to not do it, and it wasn't expected. And that's, I
that's great.
think, the best thing about a con like DareCon is that you can show up, and people will go, okay, you know nothing about this, but you like the look of what's down on the table here. This is a board game. Come on and sit in. And we're not gonna like look at you and go, "What do you want to do now?" We're gonna, we're gonna roll it out and help you.
Yep. Yep. And that's something I experienced,
Yeah.
when I first joined the club at Nace Board Game Club, that I thought really made it stand out, was absolutely welcoming. Everyone there was so welcoming, just
Yeah.
getting you into a game, and, not expecting you to know all the rules, and stuff like that. So it's great. And like, Luca, I'm sure you were
Yeah,
instrumental in making that kind of the ethos of our group anyway.
yeah, 100%. And and talking about RPG, it's
Mm,
amazing how you know how all the DMs who have been so responsive to Kevin's call this year again. And
mm.
to be honest, as an organizer, I'm a bit jealous for the attendees. I have to be very honest. I'm quite jealous.
Yeah.
No, no, I honestly
Yeah.
am. And because I see all the RPG offer and I say, damn, I want to be in that and I want to be in that as well. But, I'll be probably doing so much work behind the scene that I won't have the chance. Um, I
Well, you
definitely
know where
want
we
to.
are if you want to jump on
Yeah,
stream and play with
I'll
us.
definitely want to jump
Yeah.
into the ink ribbon thing and table and do something. But honestly, there's so much that
Yeah.
honestly the attendees will have so much fun, and they have so much choice and so many great DMs out there that gave us the offer to help, and so it's really really amazing.
Yeah, we got a few more people in chat here. Declan from D8 Dungeon says you can't stop. I can't stop buying board games. You even started using them on your TTRPG games, which is cool. And Ben in chat also says also a fan of Crunch, Kev, whether with board games or role playing games. Not that I don't love a well designed simple game as well. We got Reprobate Gamer in the chat. Declan is back saying. You use tiles from Betrayal at the House on the Hill to randomly generate a haunted manor as the players explore the house. That's a really cool idea.
That's good. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
John is back, says Kev was once the most over-prepared dungeon master. Incredibly fully 3D printed adventure, mind-blowing.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I've played games like I've done my some RPG stuff, but
mm,
I just yeah I kind of approach things too seriously. Maybe I took me a whole summer to prepare for that one one shot. I
okay, yeah,
can't do
yeah.
this again. It's just
Okay.
exhausting.
Kate behind me says on a personal note, it was Dave that introduced me to D&D, and I was very wary. But I fell in love with it, and the play and the development and also the story and the dice. And everyone's talking about the amount of dice they have now. Their math rocks and clackety clackety rocks. Ben is saying also come to DareCon and tip and we'll get you some role playing games, Luca. Um,
yes.
yeah. So look, moving on then. So we've got 2 days. But what does one day at DareCon typically look like? So what time you guys open the doors? And are we straight into games? Are we straight into board games? How are things looking this year?
Yeah, I think we're planning to open the doors at 10 a.m.
Mm.
On the Saturday. And then, you know, we have to I have to double check these things before I don't want to say anything wrong,
Yeah.
but my assumption would be that we can play, to a reasonably late hour into the morning,
Nice.
you
Oh
know,
wow.
because, it's weddings would normally be in these spaces, they would go on to similar
Okay.
hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think wedding hours, I'm going to double check that with the
Yeah, I'm
venue, but
pretty
I'm pretty
sure
sure
we are
that's what we're
allowed.
looking
Yeah.
at. And then the
Nice.
same next morning, then 10 to I think about 8 p.m. on the Sunday. But yeah, it kicks off straight away. The other thing is like this takes so much, organizing effort and money and everyone's time that we don't want to waste a second when it's on.
Mm-mm.
Now we understand that people might be like, oh, starting so early, but we kind of can't afford to like waste any time. So
Yeah.
we are planning that at 10 o'clock things begin. So there will be RPGs running all day from 10 in basically 3 hour slots in this dedicated area that we have. Um, and I think there should be about maybe 5 or 6 tables in the RPG area.
Mm.
So we're looking at about 30 plus games, RPG games, all about 3 hours long going on across the 2 days.
There's a good
And
selection of DMs from the Irish scene as well. We've got like
oh, and
the guys from
incredible.
Hearthfire. We've got who else have we got? We've got any should like trot them out there. Who else we've got the Hearthfire. I think Dylan from Hearthfire is going to join us.
I'd love if he can, but I
Oh,
think they might be at a thing that weekend,
oh, are they
unfortunately.
doing their castles and
Yeah,
contracts thing?
yeah. If they want to
The
cancel that and just come to DareCon, that'd
absolutely
be
cancel the whole
brilliant.
LARP and just
Please
come. Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%. So who
that'd
else
be brilliant.
have you got to kind of sit behind a table then?
Well, basically, like after last year, I started reaching out. This was
Mm,
maybe around Christmas time, to people, Emmett and stuff, just asking,
yeah.
does he know people? And it just snowballed into this huge array of people. And at one point, like I was driving around the country in my little yellow car for
Yeah.
about a month straight, every day, like driving to Mayo, driving to Galway. Just I always wanted to meet everyone face to face,
Mm.
and I'm sure they thought I was crazy, but I was just like,
I thought it was
it,
wonderful, and it's a great way to do business, and it's a great way
that's
to speak with people because like
yeah,
it's too easy to go. "Oh, I'll just have a text conversation." I think
yeah.
it means much more if and people can see you're serious that you've made the effort to go and
Well,
meet
that's
them.
great. Like that's exactly what I hoped would be
Mm,
the result. But like I do understand, like a lot of people don't have the luxury maybe I have to do that. But I did think it was important for what
mm,
I was doing. I was like, I want to meet these people face to face and they can see who I am and they
mm.
can see that I'm not just firing off a message to them. so hopefully, I think it worked because we got an incredible array of people. So obviously yourself,
Yeah,
you're coming
Emmett,
down, and Emmett, obviously from Old Oak. We've got Ben.
yeah,
Ben's helping out as well.
great.
We have Dread. Dread's coming down.
We know and love Dread.
Aidan. And we've got Declan, of course. He's in the chat.
Great.
Yeah, which is going to be brilliant. We've got some people from Dublin, what's it called? Dubliners and Dragons.
Dubliners and Dragons, yeah.
Yeah, Anthony, I think, and Chris. There's so many that
Yeah.
I am going to do the Oscar speech thing and forget people's names.
No, but
I'm
that's
so sorry.
great though. It's a huge cross section of our
Yeah,
of our amazing scene,
we've
which
actually
is
got this
really good.
other a lady called Emily, who's this is probably a good segue. She's coming down. She's going to run a session for us in the Irish language, which is
Amazing.
brilliant,
Yeah.
a D&D session. So, that was something I mentioned earlier. We are really trying to make, a big part of this an outreach to the Irish speaking community.
Mm,
And we have Kildare Le Gaeilge sponsoring us, and they're going to have a table all weekend just running Irish language games. But
yeah.
Emily, this lady is going to run
She's great.
a session for us. So we're so thrilled like that we have all
Mm.
these people um helping us out. And there's so many more. I'm sorry if I can't remember your names. I
You're
I,
not,
I
yeah.
need a list at this point
There's
because
a
there's so many.
Yeah.
Susan and
But I really appreciate all of everyone who who you are,
Well,
who met with me and talked with me. I can't thank you enough for
I saw
being involved.
this level of support and outpouring of enthusiasm when at VentureCon first started.
Mm,
And people just went down and said, "Yeah, look, we'd love to help. We'd love to D&D, we'd love to run Call of Cthulhu. We'd love to, and people just showed up. And I think that's what we do here in the Irish scene. We just show up
yeah.
and we support because it's what we love and it's what we do.
Yeah,
Um,
nobody said no. Like everyone said
mm,
yes, and with
brilliant.
no issues. I couldn't believe it. Like it was
Yeah.
incredible.
So look, DareCon is like it happens because of volunteers. Um,
exactly.
and
Usually.
so what do the volunteers do? Where do you get them from? How important are volunteers and community groups to make a DareCon happen? And where do you find them all?
Yeah, that's a bit the biggest question, right?
Mm,
So, as I said from the start, so DareCon starts from Naceborg Game Group. So
yeah.
we can't think about running DareCon without the core group of the Naceborg Game Group. And if they listen to us now, it's like they would be here with us talking, right? So that's the core of our volunteers. But still, um, we have a need to reach for a larger number of volunteers that will help us behind the scene, because bigger number of volunteers means that each one of us will be involved in a shorter rota during the day, which will mean more of us will get to enjoy more of the con as well.
Yes.
You know, so so yeah, if I just put out the message down out there. If anybody out there listen to this and is interested to join and help us to make this day even better, then don't hesitate. Send us an email, drop us a message, and
So you're
and
still
and, and, and
accepting
uh,
brand new
100%.
volunteers. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
we really need people to reach out if they can. I mean, we kind of, we didn't entirely think like, oh yeah, 2 days. That's
Mm,
double, completely double the
yeah.
amount of people. Now we're not. We can do it. We're not worried. But like every person who comes on board makes it easier on everyone else.
Yeah.
And we're not really looking for a lot. If we get enough people, people could be doing 5 hours, and then they can play the rest of the day. So it
Or
just
even
helps us all
3.
out. Yeah,
Mm,
like we can figure it out. But please reach out, and it's all on our. At the moment, I think the best place is our Instagram. Probably is where we're running things most
okay.
out of. All the information is there, how to apply, and on our website.
Which is popping up in our Twitch chat at the moment.
Ah,
It's
brilliant.
just darecon.ie. So you can actually click that link in our chat and go straight there right now.
Yeah.
If you
It just
want
doesn't
to
use the
volunteer.
www just because I've noticed that when I type in www, it won't come up. So it's
Yeah,
just literally just DareCon.ie, I think will get you there.
yeah. That's how it is in our Twitch chat. I think it's just HTTPS. Let's just click. Do you know what? Let's just make sure it's working. So we'll click it here, and if it's not, we'll fix it. Yep, straight through, and we're straight in. That's great. And we have Tony the Deaf DM in singing Amelie's praises here as well. Tony, great to see you. And where someone is asking, do you have a volunteer form online? Which I think you do on the website.
We do, yeah,
And
with the
everyone,
Google
yeah,
form.
everyone's singing Dred's praises and Amelie's praises there.
Yeah. There's a few more
Yeah,
here that I have to mention. So
yeah,
obviously, Steve Bennett will coming
mm,
down to do his Dungeons and Naggins live show and a
yeah,
bunch of other kind of just tables of Dungeons and Dragons throughout the day. So that's a huge thing. We have Apollo Pierce coming to run some Daggerheart,
yeah. Paul's
and we
great.
have uh, we Drew actually from AdventureCon who
All
is
Gods of
coming down
Appalachia,
to run
maybe.
all Gods of
Oh,
Appalachia,
yeah,
which
Drew's a master at that.
I mean, it's already full, I think. Well, is there some spots left? We have to come back to her and see if
Mm,
she'll do a double because that looks like it's massively popular. Yeah, and then just loads of people, some other DMs who were there with us last year coming back to run stuff for younger people. And there's some Morkborg from a gentleman named Rob. Yeah, so we just let people reach out to us, and we've got a great range of stuff. So
yeah,
we think people will be really happy with what we're putting on. But we really hope people will come, and show their support for DareCon by coming, and just enjoying it because that's how this works.
yeah.
If we get
And
the
can I mention,
Hmm.
even because I'm very proud of it as a board gamer, that we're gonna have a important person as well in the board game world, a very big YouTuber, Rado, for who we know that are Richard Ham, which is gonna be DareCon, and it's gonna be a great presence. He'll be there to say hi to people and also play with people.
Yeah, if you're a
And
board
Jen,
gamer,
the
you'll know.
partners, is coming with Gamer Glass with her business about like board game pawns and glass made. They're lovely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm very proud of it, and
That's awesome.
I don't know if RPG people would know him, but he's a very very important personality in board game world, and it's one of the first reason I went into board games. So I'm watching his videos, and one of the reason my wallet got smaller and smaller
Yeah,
through his reviews.
yeah.
yeah,
You can make him answer for it at DareCon then.
yeah,
I will.
Pay
I'll
back.
try anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we were mentioning briefly before
Mm,
we started, but just for anyone else who's not really a board gamer, he has quite a pedigree in video game design as well, which he was involved with heavily before he became a board game content creator on YouTube, and he was like game director on Fable 2,
Fable
and
2.
he did the PS2 port of the original Sim. So, and he created the game Siphon Filter, which some people will
Oh,
remember from
yes.
the PS1 days. That was his
Yeah.
game. So,
Wow.
it's amazing to have this guy here. I'll be picking his brain if I can about the video game stuff. And he's just going to be there playing games with people across the weekend. So, yeah, it's fantastic having him here.
That's fantastic. So look, if I show up for day one, is day two going to be different for me? Like, so let's. I mean, there are people running different games on day one to day two, and it's not going to be the same day twice.
No, no,
Excellent.
no. We have. You see, this is the Luca can jump in
Mm,
Yeah,
as well, but
no event is the same.
okay.
There is
yeah.
no duplicate at the moment.
But this is the tricky thing of doing a 2 day
Mm,
event where you're like, there is a natural desire to maybe create something that goes over the 2 days for
yeah.
some reasons. But then you're having problems. People only want to come for one day, and then how does that work? So really, the only way we can do it properly, I think, is to not have the same day twice, but
Mm,
have a day that completely works on its own, and that's what we've been trying to do.
that's great.
And the odd game we'll try and do both days. Like for example, your game, because I'm sure people who come Saturday will want to try it. Or if they come Sunday,
Mm,
they'll want to try it. So we try to do that where we can. But also a big part of the after game app that we maybe didn't quite say is, we're putting stuff on there. Like there'll be loads of events and there's loads more to come. There'll be workshops and panels to come.
cool.
We just haven't announced them yet, but we'll
Okay.
be announcing them over the next. And there's other games that we're going to be putting up and stuff. But right now, like we want people coming who want to play a particular game to submit it to us through the after game app, and it's all on there. You can go on the app and see how to do it.
Right.
And we will go through them and we'll try to approve everything we can. Obviously, in certain circumstances, we may not be able to, but we will try. And the idea is that we want people who love a game to bring it to DareCon, to put it up on the app, and to get people signing up on it and on the day, showing them the game and stuff.
That's really
And
cool.
that's a big part of it. So it will grow as people do that. And we really would like people to engage and send us those games so we can add it to the program. And there's a big Brass Birmingham tournament. If there's board game fans out there, we're trying to do these board game tournaments as well. So it'll be jam packed.
And not only that, Dave, if you are not, if you are one of those people, if you're not like me, I like to go to conference, right? When I go there and I go to Birmingham for UKG, I like to plan my day in advance. I'm going to go there, there, and there, and there, right? But there is the person that say, I'm going to probably go that day, show up, and then decided what to do on the day. And it's perfectly fine for DareCon. Like we have a massive free play area. People can just show up on the day. They don't want to care about the program, what it is there beforehand. They'll see what's on. They borrow a game from the library. They see what table is open, and they just enjoy whatever is there, like without
That's great.
go mad on planning. So don't think that everything has to be planned in advance. Last minute person, people are very welcome.
Yeah,
You
don't
just
be
show
put
up
off
and
by
see
it.
what happens.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So where can people get tickets then and keep up with announcements? We know you have the website, so tickets are through the website.
Yeah. We're not using Aftergame for tickets this year.
Okay.
So when you go onto Aftergame, you'll see a link there that'll bring you to the site to get a ticket. And obviously we are asking people obviously to please come, please get your ticket, but just not to maybe start claiming seats on the Aftergame app until you've got your ticket, because otherwise
Okay, right,
it's not
right,
fair on
right.
people who have tickets. So
So go to the website, get your tickets,
get your ticket,
and
go
then
straight to
download the app.
Aftergame and start jumping into seats for games then.
Cool.
But that's the kind of way to do it, I think. And yeah, so tickets through the website. Definitely, if you can, download the Aftergame app and have a look through it. But yeah, like Luca said, anyone who's not tech savvy or doesn't really want to get into that, don't worry about it. We'll
Show
make
up and
it work
play.
on the day as well.
That's cool. We've got folks in here who are blown away by Rado. They got like people like Siphon Filter, what a legend. And Reprobate Gamer is saying that's a decent pedigree. It sure is. So if there was anything that you think that we haven't conveyed to the folks watching, or the folks that will watch the VOD, there was one last thing that each of you could convey or tell them about DareCon, what would it be?
Ooh.
What do you think, Luca?
There's one thing that I'm quite excited about, and I think is I don't know for RPG players, right? But I think it's something that is very important for board gamers. So board gamers tends to buy loads of games, and then at some point in their life, they need to make space for new games, right? So there is always demand to say, okay, let's give a new life to an old board game. So this year, again, by listening by feedback, we decided to say, okay, let's open a second-hand board game, game where people can bring the games that they don't get played anymore, and they can arrange, buy and bring and buy kind of a thing, And I think people will be very excited about it because
That's
we'll have a
great.
dedicated area for it. The same area would be a quiet area where, where family and kids will be a little bit overwhelmed by crowd. They can sit down and just away from the crowd and still play games in a kind of a quieter area. So that could be another.
That's
nice
brilliant.
thing.
Quiet sounds are always great.
Yeah.
I think at some point we all kind of need a little bit of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say like probably, we're like Luca said, we're learning on our feet here. We're only in year 2. We are running fast, but we don't know everything obviously, and we're especially with how to navigate the online world. Like I'm not super good at that. Like Discord last year, I did set up a Discord for internally, and like I was just, I can't understand this. Like how can I play these complex games? I can't understand Discord.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if we're reaching enough people just because are we using the right platform? So like if people are watching this and they can help us by telling us guys, we don't know about this. Like, we haven't seen anything about this. Please let us know, because we may be using the wrong platforms. We may not be reaching out in the right ways. I mean, I used the Instagram first because it was just something I was used to. But I don't know how many people are still using it, or if they're seeing the stuff. And I'd hate for all this effort to have been gone to, and then people miss it because they just didn't see that it was on.
Yeah.
So I would say, let us know. We have a Blue Sky. I did create a Blue Sky. I'm planning to create a Discord, a public Discord for it. But please let us know, and let us know what you want, like what people want. You know, we're doing a lot, but we'll work. You know, we'd love to work to what people want as well, as much as anything else. So please engage and let us know what you guys want, and we'll do our best. You know.
Absolutely. Well, look, I think we're coming up on the hour mark, so that's a probably good time to wrap things up. I think we're really looking forward to being there for a second year, and we're excited to see how DareCon continues to grow. Kevin Luca, thanks for coming on to chat about this.
Thanks very much, Dave.
The very best of luck with it in
Thanks.
October. We
Thanks,
really
Dave.
appreciate it, and we're like the EC, myself and Ben and whoever else are delighted to be back. Thanks to everyone who stuck the head in tonight. We appreciate you all. Stay tuned to the Emerald Collective this week, as we've got Dice-Sized Tales returning from a short hypersleep on Thursday, as GM Craig continues to terrify his players with deep space horror in the Alien RPG. I'm back on Friday with episode 96 of the Soft Throne Saga. How in the world do we get to 96 episodes in with no sign of slowing down? And that's it. Look, as always, my deepest thanks go out to our wonderful techno mistress behind me, who gives up her time and her headspace to create all of the wonderful overlays you see in the Emerald Collective, as well as running OBS and Twitch for every stream we do. We appreciate and love you dearly. Friendos, take care, and we'll see you at DareCon.
Thanks.